My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design. Today I want to talk about the question I get asked probably the most, and comes up in various formats, but it's basically this essential question. And you might be asking this question now. You maybe have been asking it for the last couple of years, but it's, how do I make money from my art? How do I make money from my art? How do I make money from my designs? How do I make money from my creative endeavors, right? It's really like, how do I make this thing that's a hobby actually make money for me? Now, it's a simple question, and there's actually multiple simple answers to it. But the problem is that it's difficult to make those things happen. Okay, so I'm going to give you the short version of this so that you can start thinking about how you can make money from your art. And the other question I actually just got this question last night. I was at a party and someone asked this, and they said, wait, can you really make money from your art? And I was just like, yeah, I made a lot more, double if not triple of what my husband made as an attorney, as a designer. And so the answer is yes, absolutely you can. Most of the time, most of us just don't know what avenues there are. We just are so, disengaged from that way of thinking. And a lot of times, I hear people will say, well, my so-and-so has an MBA, or my, I feel like I can learn some business things from X, Y, and Z. And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. But when it comes to the design and art realms, there are actually very simple methods for getting your work out there that most people just don't take advantage of. And I guarantee most of you have heard of these things, okay? And they're very, very simple to get started. So how do I make money from my art? Well, the way you make money from your art is your art has to be seen by a huge percentage of people. And then a huge number of people. And then a percentage of those people are going to buy. Usually it's a pretty low percentage, right? So the more eyeballs you can get on your artwork or your design work, the more likely you are to sell a very small percentage of it. And let's just pretend, because I'm in the digital world, there are certain metrics that we go by, and this doesn't necessarily apply to design, but it will help you understand what I'm talking about. So when you're selling a product of any type, right, you have 2,000 people see that product. Your hope is that 1, maybe 2% will purchase that product. So if that makes sense, you have a really large number of people see that product, but you really only know that a very small percentage will buy. So the more eyeballs you have on your work, the better it's going to be for you, because there's going to be a smaller percentage that actually buy. So if only 20 people see it and it's only 1% buy, then you might not get any sales. If you have 200 people see it and 1% buy, then man, you guys, I shouldn't be doing math off the top of my head. It's 200 people times 0.01, 2 people buy, right? Now, those are still pretty high percentages. And in the digital world, usually it's lower than that, right? It's 0.5, sometimes it's 0.025 or whatever. So you're kind of always looking to get a bigger audience seeing all your stuff. Now, next up is people are like, well, but how do you do that? Well, there are lots of ways you already know about, right? So social media is one of those ways. So if you're willing to do content creation, influencer creation, that's one way you can get people to view your audience. This is why it's so painful at the beginning, because most of us, it takes us a very long time to even hit 1,000 people in our Instagram feed or TikTok feed or whatever. It takes a long time to get there, and you have to do a lot of work to get there, right? Because you're building the audience, okay? It's not my favorite way for people to get started, but it is a way, right? The second, which is the way I love to teach, is platforms, right? So if you can get on a platform like, for example, Etsy, where the algorithm is going to show your stuff, then if you can make products that are of high quality, then you might be able to get seen. I personally love a lot of online platforms out there because they help get people seen with much bigger audiences way quicker. Okay, so that's one of the ways I like to do it. Another way is manufacturers. Now, manufacturers are the ones that are in charge of letting the audience see your work. That's why people desire so much to get a manufacturer, because you don't actually have to build the audience. It's kind of, the lazy way around it, but you get all the money from it. So I say it's the lazy way. It's actually the hardest way, because you have to convince a manufacturer to pick up your work so that they can then show it to their audience, right? So all of these ways are difficult. And that's why selling in the design and art worlds feel so hard. And people come to me and say, oh, why isn't it easier? And I'm like, well, if it was easy, all of us would be doing this easier. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be easy. No one would be taking classes, learning business, trying to figure out the best ways to do stuff, learning how to pivot. None of us would have to do that. We could just make our artwork and sell stuff. And I wouldn't have any educational programs, because I would spend all of my time still designing and creating artwork, right? Because if it was easy, then we would all do it. But there's a reason it's hard. It's hard because it's important to see who's willing to do the work and who's not. Because if the only thing you want to do is make the actual hobby of designing, then this is not the place for you. Designing in this way is not for you. What you should be doing, if you are loving this work and you want to sell your work and you want to make money from the work, is getting eyeballs on your work. And a huge portion of your time should be spent on figuring out ways to get eyeballs on your work. And that's really as simple as it's supposed to be. The ways are a little windy, they're a little more complicated, but that's really all it is. So how do you make money from your artwork? Get eyeballs on it. Build an audience. Get distribution. Figure out ways so that a large number of people can see your artwork. And that is how you win, guys. That is how you win. Now, if you want to learn more about the ways that I like to get eyeballs on my work, I would love to see you in a design boot camp. And I know I've got one coming up in the next little bit. All you have to do is go to designsuitecourses.com/designbootcamp. It's just a $27 workshop for 1 week. And it's really inexpensive, because what we do is just get you started. We just kind of give you some of the beginning understandings of why we choose the way we do, giving you information on distribution. And it's just the basic information to kind of help you understand what you're up against as you're getting started as a designer. Now, the other thing we do, though, is if you want to come into a program like Design Suite, which is our 1-year program, that is a true hands-on experience of building your design business. We only let people who have come in through a design boot camp even have access to purchase and come into that program. Why? Because for us, it helps us understand whether you know the basics of what it really takes to get started. We don't want people coming in who are I don't know really what I'm doing. We're no, let us teach you. Here are some good basic things that you need to do in order to get started so that we can help you win, right? And so that's why we do that. So if you are interested in our bigger program of Design Suite, if that's something that sounds interesting to you, or you really want to build a business in 2025, I recommend coming to a design boot camp and first of all, learning the basics and then seeing if Design Suite might be a good fit for you. So once again, that's at designsuitecourses.com/designbootcamp. How do I make money from my art? Guys, it's easier and harder than you think. And the easy part is let's just get some eyes on that artwork.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsuitecourses.com/free.